Hi, I'm Tim Lewis, and welcome to today's review of my version of the George Herbert Walker Bush funeral train from MTH Railking. Before we get into this video, I want to let people know that I do videos on product reviews based off of what I see on YouTube. So if there's an engine I have that does not have a product review, I may consider doing one. But I will not do a review on all products. Like for example with 4141, the one engine you see here, there are not a lot of videos on this engine online as of right now. So today's video will be a review and run, and then I will be posting another video in the next couple of days. Also, another announcement is that I have started a Vimeo account, so I will be posting on YouTube and Vimeo. This review and all the other run videos and any other video I post will both go on YouTube and Vimeo, starting from this video forward. First of all, I want to thank my parents for purchasing 4141 as a Christmas gift from them. I want to thank John for purchasing the baggage car, and my grandmother for buying 4 of the 6 cars that you will see in this video. I had no intentions of doing this train until the beginning of December, and it's an interesting story how this all came together. I wanted to get 4141 before the real 4141 gets donated to the George H.W. Bush Library. The chances that it can be reproduced will most likely decrease, and this was the perfect time to get it before the ones available now are gone. The baggage car came in a trade. I had a Lionel TPC unit I acquired in a trade about 10 years ago. And John wanted to know if I still had it and wanted to know if I still wanted to use it. On eBay, he was looking around finding a TPC, and the asking price is pretty high, so he asked if he could get it back. So instead of charging him the $200 or whatever price for a TPC goes, I asked him to purchase the baggage car for me, and that's why I have the baggage car. I originally was going to leave the baggage car as is and run it by itself, but several things made my mind change. The first was when I thought back about seeing 4014 in October of 2019. Seeing 4014 roaring down the main line made me decide to get some cars for the Challenger and the Big Boy. The second was I have a lot of Union Pacific engines, so I might as well get a UP passenger train to run with anything. And finally, if I had just the baggage car by itself, I would hate myself for not buying the cars to make my version of the funeral train. Now, I can't replicate the train because I don't have the money to do the exact consist, so I decided to do my own version. It's not complete yet because I want to get Union Pacific 1943 to lash up and pull a few more cars. But overall, it looks nice as it is right now. Therefore, the introduction said, my version of the George Herbert Walker Bush funeral train. So let's get into some history about 4141. I will only give a brief history of before and after the funeral. Union Pacific 4141 is an SD70 built by EMD in July 2005. Originally numbered 8423 and in primer like the Heritage units, the locomotive was officially unveiled at the George Bush Presidential Library. The road number 4141 corresponding to George H.W. Bush's president number and scheme as the Air Force One aircraft. The locomotive was on display outside the Presidential Library for a while before it entered revenue service. Bush himself was allowed to operate the locomotive. The unit was removed from service in 2009 and placed in storage at Union Pacific's North Little Rock shop. In 2001, the locomotive was removed from storage just long enough for a single round trip from North Little Rock to Chicago, then returned to storage. The engine sat for 6 years until it was put in service to take the 41st president to his final resting place. After the funeral, 4141 joined the executive train and went to Omaha, Nebraska. Later, Union Pacific 4141 went on a system-wide tour. On November 8, 2019, Union Pacific donated 4141 to the George Bush Presidential Library, where it will be on permanent display in the pavilion. The locomotive made its last run from November 8th to November 9th, traveling from Houston to Palestine, Texas, being the dynamic brake and diesel assistant with 4014. Currently, 4141 is at the North Little Rock shops. The motor and other electronics will be gutted so it can be a donor locomotive to other SD70s in the system. The plan for the display is to add a pavilion with 4141 display and an Air Force One display if they can acquire one of the two Air Force One planes after their 2025 retirement. I had 4141 on my list to get for a long time when the PS2 model was made. I couldn't find one, but I'm happy I got this model now. The sound set is incredible, and I will get to that later. But let's take a look at the outside of this beautiful locomotive. On top of the locomotive, you also have GPS and antennas. So I'm not going to try to zoom in on all this detail on the side because I'm trying to enhance it and it's not giving me a fair shake. So what we got here is we got the sunshade, and the other side has the same thing. We have the builder details right here. This is the seal for the George Bush Presidential Library. Building America, the Union Pacific logo, that is usually on this portion of the locomotive. You got the classification of the engine right here as well. Moving to the back, since this is a different engine from Union Pacific, instead of having the flag and being all armor yellow, you will have the George Bush 41 Presidential Library and Museum on the side. You also have the American flag on the back, and the color on this thing is very incredible with all the different types of colors, making it seem like this is Air Force One of the rails. Here's back of 4141. You got 4141 here and here. You got rear lights. And if you do not put the snowplow on the front of the engine, you have these hoses right here. And you got a cut bar on both sides as well. And as always, MTH engines come with electric couplers on the front and on the rear of the locomotive. Here is the other side of the engine, and it's pretty much the same with the exception of different things on the right side. And we'll cover more of that in just a bit. Here we have a top view of the locomotive. We got the fans up here. We got a beautiful 5-chime horn. And as always, you load the smoke fluid for the smoke unit into these grates. Now this section, I'm going to call it buyer beware. And I think this is on mostly all the new Railking SD70s. I have 3 PS2 SD70s, and they have like a little funnel so everything gets funneled into the smoke unit. Well, not on this unit, and I don't think on the other ones. So when you load smoke fluid, I recommend getting a needle nose dropper. JT Megasteam sells a curved one, or you can probably look around on Amazon and find a straight shot one. Or if you go to a hobby shop and you find a labels that's empty for like oil, you could probably get away with that. Here is a needle nose applicator for oil, so obviously you put it down that, and I would recommend using probably either this one or that one as the hole, so you can do a straight shot into the smoke unit. Now, I don't know what will happen if you don't do the other one, but I'm assuming it'll leak on all the electronics, which is bad. Also, we will be covering the casket car in this review. So, this casket car came in the same ready-to-run 2019 catalog as 4141. And these shipped around the same time as the engine did, I believe, maybe a month earlier. So the first thing you'll notice out of the box is that there are no doors for the back portion where the casket is. Well, there is plexiglass there. The only 2 doors that work on this car are the doors for the portion of the star and blue for the car. Now, when this car is operating with power, There are lights in the car so you can see the casket that it's in there. Now on the Premier model, I believe they do the same thing. From what I'm being told, Lionel model will have some honor guards in the car with the president like the real train did. Now, I don't feel like taking this thing apart and messing something up, so I'm going to leave it as it is. But I may end up putting some honor guards in there maybe someday, not today. So I'm not going to be able to zoom in on this, but that is the presidential seal for the President of the United States. You also got Proud Heritage, Powerful Future, and Building America on the side of the car. So essentially this is like the car that they've been using for quite a while with the flag, with the exception that there is not a casket and it has the doors for the American flag portion. So now I'm going to give you guys some tips. Originally I was going to do this as a video blog episode, but I figured it's time to do it now. So when you get Railking passenger cars, they come as a 4-car set or 2-car set, and you can buy individual cars. And then the fun part is putting seated people in the cars because they come empty. I believe most MTH Premier cars now come with people inside them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up the consist. So this is the baggage car. This is the coach car. So the coach car has some people in there. These are single seated people. Now I'll explain where I get my people in a minute from. Usually Amazon's a good place to get them. eBay is hard to find, but I think Amazon's the better deal. Here is the sleeper car, the dining car, the dome car, and I put a lot of people in this portion of the dome because that's how Union Pacific rolls. They give more rides or get more riders in their dome cars. And finally, the last car on this train is the observation car. Now my tip to you is that when you get people, change it up a little bit, meaning you either try to paint their clothes or you try to get their hair a different color, because a lot of these packs that you buy from Amazon are the same people in just 5 different replications. So I picked up a couple more packs from Amazon of different people, so I scattered them around in the train. The only car that has more people in it than the original train right now is the dome car. So a lot of different people are in this train, and I bought a lot more seated people because I plan on going back and looking through each train, figuring out if I should add some more people just to intermingle different people. I have a lot of seated people coming because I just want to change it up, and it's great to have seated people around when you want to do different types of displays. So I'm going to give you the favorite feature and least favorite feature of this video, and I'm only going to do it for the engine and the baggage car. So my favorite feature on this engine is the sound set, and you'll see why in a minute. I have no least favorite feature on this engine. Everything on this engine is pretty nice. My favorite feature on the baggage car is the casket. Very nice touching effect to add to this car. And I have no least favorite feature on this car. Alrighty, so now we're going to get ready to roll her out. The first thing we're going to do is do the extended startup sequence. Before we start running the engine, the smoke unit will remain off during the whole video. The extended startup sequence is slightly different on this engine than others. For example, when you start this thing up, it sounds like you give it the regular startup sequence. But anyways, we'll give it the extended startup sequence, and that will be done with the SSU soft key. so we're going to do some sounds. We'll do the regular horn by pressing the W/H right key on the remote. We got the single toot, which is SO1 as a soft key. We got the forward signal, SFS. The reverse sounds, which is SRS. And the signal, SXS. Here is the bell. You press the yellow bell button on the remote. Alrighty, now it's time to move her out. I will be shooting the PFA sounds later in the video, but for now, let's get her rolling. Now it's time to do the PFA announcements. So I press the 9 PFA button.
He was a patriot. After high school, he put college on hold and became a Navy fighter pilot as World War II broke out. Like many of his generation, he never talked about his service until his time as a public figure forced his hand. To us, he was close to perfect, but not totally perfect. His short game was lousy. He wasn't exactly Fred Astaire on the dance floor. The man couldn't stomach vegetables, especially broccoli. When the history books are written, they will say that George H.W. Bush was a great president of the United States, a diplomat of unmatched skill, a commander-in-chief of formidable accomplishment, and a gentleman who executed the duties of his office with dignity and honor. Well, Dad, we're going to remember you for exactly that and much more. And we're going to miss you. Your decency, sincerity, and kind soul will stay with us forever. So through our tears, let us know the blessings of knowing and loving you, a great and noble man, the best father a son or daughter could have.
And that was the soundbite of George Walker Bush giving the eulogy for his father, George Herbert Walker Bush, at the state funeral in Washington, D.C. As you can see here, the casket car is illuminated on the inside, and you can see that there is a casket inside the train. Alrighty, so we will now shut her down by using the extended shutdown sequence SSD.
How did you run? You ran great, thanks. Take care. See you soon.
Alright, this wraps up this run session of the review. Now, if you're wondering where you can get this engine, I would start looking around everywhere. I got mine from Mario's Trains, and my parents bought it, and all of a sudden I noticed that when I looked at the website, the listing for this engine was gone. So I thought someone else bought the engine before me, but in all honesty, I bought the last 4141 from Mario's Trains. The baggage car came from Mario's Trains, and the coaches came from Mario's Trains. So if you need Union Pacific coaches and the baggage car for the train, go through Mario's Trains. The engine's going to be hard to find, like I said, so look around. Now, I know this video did not have a lot of running, but don't worry, I'll be running this engine more, and I'll be shooting some video. There should be a new video coming out. I believe it will be posted either late January 1st or early January 2nd. And it's going to be a running session at Balboa Park with this beautiful 4141, 3985, 611, and 1218. 3985 got some modifications. I'm going to cover that in a tips video later. So I have 3 tips video that will be lined up, and those will be out as video blog episodes, and those will probably be out shortly after the next week. Anyways, that's it for now. If you have a Vimeo account, I will also be posting videos on Vimeo, so if you're leaving YouTube because of the COPPA or the CPPA, I will be posting stuff on Vimeo as well. And please note the Vimeo stuff may get delayed by a day when it goes out on YouTube. If you still watch videos on YouTube, it may be delayed by a day. But I will try to get both videos out at the same time on the same day. Anyways, that's it for now. I wish all of you a wonderful and happy New Year, and stay safe. Goodbye.